Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive, always broadcasting at WNST, AM 1570 out on the radio dial. Lots of people coming back this week. We are promoting something that is going to be the biggest promotion we've ever done. It is our 25th anniversary. Foreign Daughter and Curio Wellness are presenting our 25 Stories of Glory. Number 13 was Luke Jones in his Haloti Nada jersey coming in to win a competition here 16 years ago now, back in 2008. So we've had a long, rich history in our 25 years. But never anything like this. Never like a 1 seed and Super Bowl in Las Vegas where you used to be able to illegally bet and you would never won a team or a Super Bowl in Las Vegas. But Leonard Raskin remembers those old days. It's been a couple of weeks since he and I got together. He's been traveling. It's been holidaying. It's been New Yearing. You were never nervous about the Ravens being anything other than the number 1 seed when you went away a couple of weeks ago. So I got to catch up with you. First off, Happy New Year to you. I'm glad you're feeling healthier. I mean, you had a little illness back during the Christmas period. So
had a little COVID ick going on.
You made it through? You Pavlovic?
Made it through. Made it through.
You did it okay? All right.
All through, all good. No complaints. Just a lingering little throat thing, but the doc says it can hang on for who the hell knows how long.
Well, maybe through the Super Bowl. Who knows, right? Like,
there you go.
You have an interesting thing. You have an anniversary coming up. You have this big romantic trip with Kat. You're going halfway around the world. And you did it in the middle of maybe Super Bowl week, and you might be going to Las Vegas. You're trying to figure out your plans like everybody is
That's right.
And you manage wealth. So maybe you're a guy that can afford 6, 8, 10 grand a ticket because that's what it's going to cost.
Silly.
There's no more. Man, your wife was pissed at you for spending $2 grand 20 years ago, right? Just to get into the first Super Bowl, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It cost me a living room.
Well, you got your ticket on the plane. Didn't you get in? You got a pretty good deal, right?
Yeah. I was schmoozing some folks on the plane flying from Baltimore to Tampa Bay. They were going to the game. They had tickets.
There was no SeatGeek or StubHub back then.
No.
There was, do you know a guy?
Right. and I didn't have tickets, and I went down with a couple guys. We didn't have tickets. We didn't have a hotel. The only thing we had was a rental car. So we got the rental car. We found a hotel way the heck out of Dodge, which was fine. We didn't care. We hung out at the team hotel. We were scrounging for tickets, and this couple had 2 tickets. The 3 guys, we agreed that whatever we'd get, we'd split 3 ways the price.
I can't believe you went as a threesome because, like, that's the hardest thing in the world to get tickets.
It's crazy.
2's fine. 1's easy. 1, you can always find a single.
Well, we schmoozed. I talked to these folks on the plane. Back then, I don't even remember what the ticket price was, but it was relatively cheap. And
what was cheap? $1,500 at the time?
No. The face amount. I'm talking face of the ticket.
Oh, the face on those tickets was
probably
$355 and $750.
Yeah, something like that.
The downstairs seats were $1,000 in that.
Yeah, but these were upstairs.
But they were $3,000 that week. It was an unbelievably difficult ticket because the Giants fans.
New York went crazy.
Yeah.
So we're on the plane. This couple had tickets. They had won in the Raven lottery. I think they were $300, something like that. Whatever. They were going to the game at all costs. There was no way they weren't going to the game. Everybody was talking to them. They were sitting across from me. We were yakking the whole way down. We get there. I got I don't know how. I guess we had some cell phone because got the guy's number and said, "Look, I'll give you $2 grand." $2 grand a piece for the tickets if you want them. And he said, I don't know. And then
for the whole trip?
Yeah, pay for the whole trip. And then we got landed and we went and getting off the plane. I said, $2,500 a ticket? He said, give me your phone number. I'll call you. I'll let you know. So later that night he called. Out of the blue, I get a phone call. Back then you didn't care what the number was. You answer the call. Answer the phone call. It was this guy. He said, my wife and I talked and for $5 grand, we'll go to Paris. And so I said, beautiful. So we met him and I counted out the hundreds. There was no Venmo or anything, counted out the hundreds. We had money and he bought.
And you thought at that time it might be the only chance in your life to go to a Super Bowl, right?
Of course. So that's right. To see our Ravens in one. Yeah.
10 years later, Flacco shows up and then you go to New Orleans, right?
With the whole family this time.
I ran my New Orleans trip. I ran my New Orleans trip. The bus trip, I look back, it was $33.50 up to $48.50, depending on seat, hotel, better
Yep.
hotel, the whole deal. We had a Hollywood casino we stayed at down in Louisiana. That was our premier trip. It was a really nice place to stay and like all that. Couldn't stay in New Orleans, not at that price, right? So
No,
I mean,
no.
we took I think we took 280 people to New
There you go.
Orleans. Like
There you
now
go.
we're going on 11 years ago, right?
Yep.
The whole trip, there was nobody on my trip that I had to refund. Everybody
Right.
got in the game. There were
Right.
no casualties. Everybody made the bus ride home. Some people said we're going to fly
Nobody was
home.
electrocuted.
Right? No, everything had right. The lights went out. The lights went on. We all won. They all got in. Every person on my trip got
Yep.
fed, bussed, hotel, ticketed, in, out, transportation for under $5,000. There's
Hanging out on the
nobody listening
Natchez.
to my voice. There's no one listening to my voice that will get a ticket for under $5,000. No
That's
matter
right.
what. If you hit the
That's
lottery,
right.
and I use you as the example, Leonard Raskin. I'm wearing your shirt. All last week, people were asking me about tickets. People were hitting me. One of my partners hit
Yep.
me and said, "What about tickets? What about tickets?" I know a ticket broker that's been doing this for 35 years. Every
Yep.
ticket that everybody's ever sat in at premium games, Super Bowls, championship games,
Yeah.
playoff, this human being who's a Terp alum, iTix, has been my guy since 1994, right? So he's
Yep.
gotten me every ticket for all of this stuff. I called him last week. I said, "What's the deal?" He said, "First things first, the league scalps the tickets now. So there's no
That's right.
the
That's right.
players have to pay $3,500 a ticket or $4,250. That's the face value, and then they're chipped, so you can only sell them one time. It's kind of like Pearl Jam tickets or whatever.
Yep.
You get one transfer on
It's
it.
unreal.
So if a player sells it to a
Unreal.
scalper, it's over, right? So they've figured out how to do all of this that really hyper. So I said to my friend, I said, "Hey, my boy Leonard Raskin has club seats. He's hoping to get in line." He said, "Well, the only way you're going to win the PSL lottery is to be a club seat or a suite owner. They're not going to give
Yeah.
Section 541, row 21. You're not going to win the lottery."
Right.
And even though
Right.
you want to win the lottery, when you win the lottery, they're going to call you. Baker Kopman's going to call you, and they're going to say it's $8,500 for the pair.
Right.
And you're going to say, "Okay, maybe I could scalp them, sell them, or whatever." But
Right.
you're in for 10 grand.
Yeah.
If you hit the lottery and you get lucky, it's going to be 10 grand for the
To
two
sit
tickets.
in the 500 level last row of the stadium.
If you get lucky, now if you go secondary market, it's going to be $7,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, of course.
Depending on who it is. So we're looking at a $15,000 to $20,000 ticket for
Yep.
two people, plus you can't drive to Las Vegas.
No.
Last I checked,
Not
and
in any
and the
time.
rooms out there aren't as bad. I got Luca room out there because there's so many rooms.
Yeah, there's
I
lots of
think
hotel.
You can find a flea bag out there for $300 a night for 3 days. You can get out there for $1,000 on the weekend.
Yeah.
Probably you could do $300-$400 a night for a hotel room. So, and that's better than a lot of.
I have friends.
New Orleans, you couldn't do.
I have friends, so I could find a place to crash out.
So are you in or are you out? I mean, is there a price that would put you out? Is there a situation that would put you in?
If I win the lottery, I'm going for sure.
Okay.
But here's my thing. Here, because this is what I'll do. If I win the lottery, those tickets, the day I win them, they find their way to a higher price. Here's hoping. And then I'll use the excess cash to spend stupid money on a stupid ticket.
Oh, okay. All right. So you want to get a better seat is what you want.
Yeah, yeah. If I win the lottery, I flip mine and buy down. And then the cost would be the difference.
The thing about the Super Bowl,
but I wouldn't buy first. I wouldn't be buying first.
The digital side of flipping them now
it's horrible.
Has become like a whole different gig. I went into that stadium in Vegas the day it opened, right? I was out there for the Zajac.
Yeah.
I was actually a media member then. Chad Steele forgets that I actually traveled with the team.
Right.
He called me lazy and said I wasn't covering the team. So I was out there. You had to have Clear in order to get into the stadium, right?
Yeah.
Clear's still on my apps. The only time I've ever used Clear. Kim Herring from the Ravens
Super
Bowl team.
Sure.
He's a Clear executive. So
really?
I ran into him. So like all of these things that would have to happen for you to go to the game a month from now.
The lineup just right.
Well, I mean, I mean, you manage wealth and you've done well for yourself and you can afford niceties and stuff like that. For a lot of people, it's
priced out.
It's not
so
where it was
out.
10 years ago. And I guess that's.
And even then, it's all relative. Even then, the ticket was ridiculous. I mean, the price for a downstairs seat was $6,000, $5,000, $6,000. It wasn't cheap.
Now it's going to be 12. It's doubled.
Right. I mean, we sat upstairs for $2,500.
Right.
That was what
Well,
it
that's how I
was.
ran bus trips for 3,300, and
Yeah.
I was getting tickets for $200 to $2,500. There was no such thing. That doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore.
No, there's no way.
That's over with.
And this game being in Vegas, I mean, these mega stadiums they're doing them in, they're like you said, the league is the scalper. The league sets that market price and says, "Sorry, sir, you can't come unless we give you a ticket somehow. You're not going. Forget
Well,
it."
I know you're going week after next. Give me a little. It's been a couple weeks since we got together. Leonard Raskin's here, Raskin Global. He manages money, manages wealth, and so that you can afford maybe if it. But listen, man, I don't care how big your dream is with the Super Bowl. I've been to two of them.
It
There's
ain't
no
worth that.
$15,000 that I'm going to pay
It
to
ain't
go out
worth
to
that.
Las Vegas to sit in that sterile sort of thing. So I think, and I'm darting here. I did Whiskey Joe's. I
Yeah,
don't want to give the number one moment in the history of WNST and our stories of glory, but if you
you
were
gotta
in the
wait.
parade,
Gotta wait.
you remember or you were at Whiskey Joe's, and I know you were,
Yep,
put out
yep.
some amazing things. I don't even know what amazing would be for Vegas. So we've decided to do something amazing for charity here during Crab Cake Row week is what we're going to have here. But where's your head in all of this? I mean, this is as good as it gets. This is the best Ravens team there's ever been. It's hard to question that. Now
Yeah,
they have to follow through, or they're going to be the
yeah.
biggest disappointment in the
Right,
history of Ravens football.
right. Well, look,
That's really a razor's edge. It really
the
is.
last couple weeks, I mean, who cares, Pittsburgh? So be it. But the last couple weeks, I wasn't concerned. I thought they'd go out to San Fran and it'd be a tight game. I thought we'd play Miami tough and probably beat them. But to put a beat down, literally, on both of those teams, offensive, defensive, special teams. I mean, you name it, they did it. They outplayed those two teams all over the field. And those were we talked a month ago? We said this next stretch is going to be huge. They had the Rams, they had Jacksonville, they
How are
had
they going to survive it? I hope they don't lose the division, right? Like it's
right,
all of that,
right,
right?
right. Well, look at Jacksonville. They started 8-3 and they didn't even make the playoffs. They failed out. They failed out of school. Look at the Eagles. The Giants made them look silly. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
some of
some
these teams are limping in. I don't think there's any
right,
doubt about that.
right.
And
There is some ugly going on, and then there's guys getting hurt all over the place. I mean, I think we're pretty darn fortunate. Not only do we have the best team in the league right now, offense cooking, defense killing, special teams hitting it, but but we're healthy for the most part. And then they go out and pick up a running back
that
just
they
for
might
fun.
not use. He hasn't had a
Right.
great year, Dalvin Cook.
I know, but he wasn't on a great team either. It's hard to have a great year when you have no line and no quarterback. I mean, tough to have a great year. Who knows? Who knows what he could be? But man, Justice Hill's making himself a name. Gus is flying all over the place. They're saying, okay, we got this. And they keep bringing in insurance for him. But this team looks strong. Every aspect of this team looks strong. Lamar's throwing the ball everywhere, anywhere, like it's nothing. And the guys are catching them. It's nuts what's going on. And they're just obliterating teams on defense. They're making teams look silly that are really good offensive teams, just looking silly. But the only thing that bothers me about the last few weeks of football is somehow the squealers squeaked in to the playoffs. They're always you never count Tomlin out in the playoffs.
Well, I don't think
That
there's any doubt
guy,
about that. We've talked about that, and
that
I
guy's
think
just got a thing.
for teams squeaking. And by the way, have you seen the weather forecast for Kansas City for Saturday night? I mean, it's supposed to be
I have not.
zero daytime high of 4 in Kansas City on Saturday. They're
Wow.
playing the game at 8:00 at night.
Wow.
So Pittsburgh's going into that. Meanwhile, the Miami Buffalo thing, Miami's the most decimated team. I don't think there's any doubt.
Oh, yeah.
And they still almost, they hung in at home, but they squandered everything they had
Who's
going.
Miami playing? Who's Miami playing?
Buffalo.
No, they don't play again. No. I think you got it backwards.
I got it
friend.
backwards. I'm sorry.
I think Miami's going into 0 degrees.
hold on here. Miami's
Buffalo's
going into
home.
Kansas City. I'm so upside down on a Monday morning.
That's
Miami's
all right.
going into Kansas City. Pittsburgh's
Yeah.
going to. They'll be calling Buffalo either way. But for Miami feels
Yeah,
like
come on.
it's over. What Chubb getting hurt when you're down 30 points and
Bad.
Lamar's running into
Bad.
lines, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
couldn't figure that out, either team, but at least ours came away healthy, and theirs, sadly for them, for Chubb, just didn't. That's bad. That
I
was
guess I'm too
bad.
focused on Flacco. I'm confused on a Monday morning. The
Yeah.
Flacco thing and the first game, kicking it off in the weekend. I think we're all expecting to see Flacco. I mean, forget the Dolphins and Steelers. I don't think anybody thinks they're winning this week. But if they do, we get them, right?
Right.
We get one of those teams.
Well, let's
Man,
suppose both of them lose, right? Both of them lose, and we get the flying Flaccos. He beats Houston.
well, I think they'll beat Houston, right? Or are you
I don't know.
not of that mindset?
I don't know. CJ Stroud, OH. The dude is on fire. You should see the talking boards at Ohio State. They're going nuts.
Well, and he would be trouble coming in here a weekend. I mean,
right, but the thing is, he's playing Cleveland. So you got the Ohio boy at Houston playing the hometown Clevelands. They're going wild. They don't know what to do. Those Ohio folks don't know who to root for. They're all aflutter.
Leonard Raskin is here. You know, we're talking on the other end of the national championship game, so I'll hold off any Harbaugh family dynasty talk for later on. But, you know, the NFC side of this thing, you mentioned beating up on the 49ers and Christmas night. You and I haven't gotten together in a little while, right? Like, you got sick,
right.
And there was New Year's and all that. Does it not feel like that beatdown of the 49ers was like 3 months ago now? Like,
I know.
It's been 2 weeks since they embarrassed the best team on the other side. And I look at this NFL tournament, I say, Packers, Cowboys. I mean, like,
really?
Rams and Lions, and I know we almost lost to the Rams, but seeing the Lions again would be dreamy, I think, from a Ravens perspective. And the Eagles and the Buccaneers are two teams that I don't know how either one of them qualify for the playoffs. So the NFC side of this thing feels like if the Ravens can survive this side of the tournament, and I think every time we've talked about Lamar in the offseason, and even last year with all the drama about him getting signed, and this time last year when he wasn't on the sidelines in Cincinnati and all that, my vision of how Lamar would win a championship sounded like this. How is he going to beat Burrow, Mahomes, and Allen back to back on the road? How are they going to win 3 games?
Got to win 2 at home. Now you got to win 2 at home.
The narratives completely change when you go, well, they went 13-4. They could have gone 14-3 or 15-2. Luke had this stat the other day that they hadn't been behind by 2 scores until the final 4 minutes of the last game of the year when they weren't even trying.
That's exactly right.
The gaudiness of all of the accomplishments of the team are there, but I look at this and say, what's the pathway that eliminates the Ravens? And I talked about the bad weather in Kansas City for the Dolphins game on Saturday night. Bad weather is the great equalizer.
Sure.
We won a home game. Now we just got to hold serve and play well.
Chill up. You got to chill up on the home game. Now, the big thing is, when is it going to be? That's the big question based on the next week's outcomes. When are the boys going to roll up and play a game? Is it going to be a Saturday? Is it going to be a Sunday? Is it going to be the Sunday night game? What's the over-under on when you think they'll put us on? There's the question.
I hope we're not on Peacock.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe that's why I confused the Steelers going to Kansas City, because I thought, I'm not even going to watch that. Where the hell am I going to watch Peacock on a Saturday night? And I'm not giving them my money. This whole, like, come on, of the extortion of you're going to get my credit card number so I can watch a football game? I don't know, Leonard. I don't know. That's America. Where do you stand on the money guy around here?
$2.99 is a tough price to pay to watch a playoff game. $2.99 when we're talking about $12,000 Super Bowl tickets.
Is that what they're charging? $3 to watch the game?
I think it's $3 a month.
Can I come full disclosure with you on something?
And you can get it. And you can get it for free the first one, and then I think after 30 days or 7 days they hit you if you don't cancel.
Look, you're a money guy, so let me just complain to you about something that's non-football related, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So this is non-football related. And I love Dan Roderick's, and I was looking through all my old stuff during I have all my Evening Sun and Baltimore Sun. This is me defecating upon the Baltimore Sun, which has been
Sure.
done on these airwaves many times.
Yeah,
But
go
I've
ahead.
been nicer lately because unlike the Republican and you and the Democrat and me, like I had a friend of mine who's a Republican say, "Why you been so nice to the Sun lately? It's falling apart. It's a rag. It's a liberal rag." Like all of that. And I'm like, well, at some point, it would be good to have a newspaper. It would be
Right.
really good to have media. And me being thrown out by Chad Steele with like, and we'll get to that. But so the newspaper thing, I bought into a come on back when I was going to run for mayor 4 or 5 years ago. I bought the $1 Black Friday Baltimore Sun subscription.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I gave him $1. And then in like April, they start charging me like $27.90 a month. It was a number, you know, it was
Right.
a real,
Right.
it wasn't
Sure.
$6
Something.
a month. It
Right.
was a real number. It was like 30
Right.
bucks a month.
Right.
April, I see it, I'm pissed. May, I see it, I'm pissed. June, I see. Finally, like the following October, I decide I'm going to cancel it.
Get around to canceling it.
The getting around, my wife and I fight about this all the time. Get on the phone and cancel it. To me, dude, I make dentist appointments. I got to make a proctological examination. I got to call Dr. Sigmund, right?
Sure.
I will look forward to calling him to set up. And I'm 55 and I've never had the thing done, so my wife's pissed at me. So I'm gonna have to go do it, right?
Yeah.
And everybody listening knows I need to pee. Every time I have Super Bowl guys on, I've had problems. So I got to do. I would rather set that up, knowing that I'm going to call and get a friendly voice over at the proctologist, and they're going to set an appointment up. I'm going to close my eyes, and I'd rather do that than cancel a subscription to get on the phone with Verizon than anybody.
Why?
And get on
What's
hold
that
and get on
about?
hold to get my money back. Here's why. You ready? Here's why. And I've told Dan Roderick this. I tried to get rid of that Baltimore Sun subscription and get that $30 off my credit card, the recurring fee.
Yep.
I got put on hold in the Philippines for an hour and 15 minutes. Listening to really bad music, okay? So they finally put me through. I speak to someone that definitely was not first language English, someone that was speaking to me from the Philippines and had a script, and they refused to disconnect my credit card. But sir, if I offer you, but sir, you're missing, but please take my credit card off of your list. Stop charging me. Stop charging me. It took me an hour and a half to get rid of the Baltimore Sun subscription. They soaked me for over $200, those rat bastards. Okay, this is a couple years ago. Off of that dollar come on bourgeois that they give you. This is why I'm not signing up for Peacock, because I've been freezer burned.
Unsign.
I've been freezer burned by giving my credit card to anything that recurs. Yep. Anything that requires a login or my name, I'm getting really pissed. Old guy, get off my lawn. And the fact that the National Football League is sticking this up our ass on Saturday night, I think I'm going to go up to the casino. I'm going to find some other place. I'm going to go up to Hollywood, do something else, because I'm not giving them my credit card. I'm not.
For sure,
I'm
the
not
casino's
interested in
got
Peacock.
it.
I'm not interested in I'm not interested in your streaming. I'm not interested in Netflix. I'm not interested in Spotify. I'm already giving Apple and Google and all these people money for storage just so I can see my pictures. I'm not giving Peacock my money, and you're my money manager, so I want you to talk to me.
I'm with you.
Do I sound responsible, Leonard?
No, it's absolutely right, because I can tell you this. There are people that have been convinced to, quote unquote, cut the cord, get rid of your cable, and get subscriptions because it's cheaper. Instead of $110 a month, it's $299, until you have 30 of them and it's $300 a month. And that's what people do. And they don't watch anything, but they're paying for everything. Why? Because they don't cancel them, just like you're saying. And you can't cancel them. You can get on the internet and try. You can call somebody and try. But
this is their first chance to try to get $3 out of me to watch something on television for a football game. This is their first go at this, where the Super Bowl is going to be $159 viewing party 10 years. Yeah, they're
in the future for sure. You're not going to be able to watch the Super Bowl without something.
We got to pay $8,000 to go to it now.
Right, but I'm talking about to even watch it. They figured this out. They've got it all figured out. They've got us all played.
Figured out until I do something else on Saturday night and just monitor the score.
That's right.
Because I'm not interested in the Dolphins enough.
No, to watch them Whack at Kansas City.
All right, I already embarrassed myself by getting the sites wrong.
It's
It's a Monday
okay.
morning. You know, you got to screw up to start the year. Leonard Raskin is here. He's Raskin
It's good
Global.
stuff.
I'm not even going to edit it out because that was just so stupid. But so yeah, Kansas City is hosting Miami. Pittsburgh is
Yes.
going to. They're both going to lose, so I don't think
Pittsburgh's going to Buffalo.
Buffalo.
So then we got Kansas City and Buffalo, which are the 2 and the 3, and then your low game is 4-5. Houston, Cleveland.
That's the first game.
Which is a coin flip.
So you rooting
So
for Flacco or you rooting against him?
I can't root for Flacco. I can't root for the Browns. How can you root for the Browns? Come on. You can't root for the Browns. Gotta hope Joe has a great game and they lose. That's all.
You don't want to see Joe come here next week? Are you afraid of that? Or no?
No.
Not interested in that.
No. What do you want to see that? I mean, that's like, look, they've played 5 quarterbacks. Somehow they've won because they have a tremendous defense. Their defense is kind of ugly, and their uniforms are ugly.
Oh, yeah.
See, their uniforms are hideous.
It's really weird seeing Joe run around with that Keebler elf on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is that? What the heck is that?
I'll ask John Martin when I have him on this week. Anything on the markets or money or starting a year that you want to give some? Because I didn't give you a chance to do any of your end of the year wisdom and grandpa's speech about taking care of your money and see.
Hey,
we did talk about seeing family during the holidays and doing things that way. But there's never an easy time, especially not on Elvis's birthday, to discuss these things, right?
No. Money is something people don't look at. We just talked about. They don't even manage their subscriptions. One of the things you should look at going into the year is absolutely your spending, because we've been tricked to spend. And here's what happens. You get a paycheck and your paycheck goes into your checking account. And then you spend all the money out of your checking account. And sometimes you spend too much money out of your checking account. And then maybe you save some. Maybe you save a little bit of what's left. We have been convinced psychologically, literally, over time, to marry our earnings going into our checking account with what we want to spend. And there is no connection, and there should be no connection between what you earn and what you spend. And that sounds crazy, but we were just talking about earlier the Super Bowl.
Well, all we really need is, good sex, comfortable shoes, and a warm place to go to the bathroom for the old Saturday Night Live group. But all we really need is I wake up every day and I think I'm healthy. I know what it's like to have my wife not healthy.
That's right.
I know what it's like to have my back hurt and have my career taken away from me because of it. So I know all of that. But I also realize I only eat 3 times a day and it's cold out. And as long as it's warm in here, as long as I can eat and go to the bathroom 3 times a day and pay my bills, I'm good. But then there's, I want this. I like this.
That's right.
I
That's
see
the
this.
point.
I need to do that. I need to have this.
I want this. I need that. And the other stuff. And
what things I need? I need new glasses. So
I get it. But here's what I'm saying.
But there are things that you need to function. And then there are things that you want, right? Or things that make you feel good.
But here's what I'm saying. When as an individual, I made $30,000, life was okay. Then I made 40 and life was okay. And then I made 50 and life was okay. And then I made 100 and life was okay. And then I made $1 million and life was okay. And then I made 10 million and life was okay. This is human nature. Okay. So here's what happens. When I was making 30 and life was okay, and now I'm making 40 and life is okay. And I'm talking just in the generic me, 50 and life is okay. At some point, you don't have to look any further than a guy like Warren Buffett. At some point, you don't have to move out of that house into another house and have 6 houses. You can. You don't need the fancier car. You can still drive the Toyota or the Chevy till it gets 250,000 miles on it and dies. You don't need a new car every 3 years.
Or as I learned, you can go on vacation and not have to own a vacation home.
That's right. Or you can go on vacation.
That was a tough lesson for me, right? For me personally.
Or you can go on vacation and you can stay in a hotel in the same locale that's $200 a night or $1,000 a night. Okay? There are things that can be done. You can go camping and find a place. I'm not saying you have to. All I'm saying is your spending should not be a function of your earnings. You need to get your spending as a function of your spending and then lock it. And then as you make more and more and more, if you just save more of the increased earnings and spend a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with spending a little bit more. But as Americans, we've been psychologically conditioned that as we earn more, we have to spend massively more. And as a result, we don't save enough. And as a result, life long-term suffers. And what I'm saying is at the beginning of the year, it's a good chance to look at your spend and say, are all these things, we're just talking about it, subscriptions, before you know it, you're spending $200 a month on stuff you're never using. You're not touching.
Well, that's why I'm not going into
at.
this Peacock thing. And I entered this conversation with you sort of angrily to say I'm not doing it because I don't want Peacock. I don't need Peacock after 11 o'clock Saturday night. So therefore, I'm not going in and even typing my name in and giving them access to me. I don't want them to have access to me. I don't want Peacock.
Somebody's got it. Some locale has it. Some bar has it. And if you want to watch the game, you can go there and watch it. I'm sure there's restaurants and bars and casinos all over town that have it.
Anybody out there has a game Saturday, let me know. I'm going to call my clients because I'm afraid they're like me. Like, I don't know whether Costas knows how to get, like, literally, like, this is a bizarre thing that the league is doing.
But as a business, it's one of the things you do. You know, you buy the subscription so your patrons can come in and not have to pay for it. Instead of paying $2.99 for the subscription, you pay $2.99 for food.
Well, but what I'm saying to you is the NFL. This goes back to their business model,
of course,
of the NFL ticket becoming completely unaffordable.
Absolutely,
any sports bar and all these pay-per-view fights, going back to Tyson and all that, charging $50 a stool in the bars and all of that. I mean, I live without seeing the Tyson fight certain nights. I can live without a Chiefs. I'm getting to the point now where you're trying to take advantage of my my affinity.
Better senses. That's exactly right.
You're trying to take advantage of me, and that's where Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, the Rolling Stone. Like
a little crazy.
There comes a point where it's like, I know how much my Tuesday night is worth with Madonna or with Pearl Jam or with Joe Flacco or with you at dinner over a steak, a lobster, or a hamburger or pot roast or whatever we're going to eat.
That's right.
I've grabbed the handle on. So I would say to everybody, if you have some questions about money, find Leonard. Leonard's always got good advice. He's got good head on his shoulders is what I say about him. And for those of you who are considering going to the Super Bowl, and I know I was the guy leading the people, Leonard, everybody's hitting me. Are you taking a trip?
I got it.
And I'm thinking, how much do you think it's going to cost?
It's
like if I had a trip, it would be
$10,000.
It would be more than that. It just would be.
12.
It would be 12 to 15
to
think about.
Who's going?
Tickets, risk, flight, hotel, all of that. And then I'm thinking, that's a different thing than $3,500 and ride a bus, which isn't cheap, but we're not going to go to Disney World. We're going to forego our summer vacation to go to New Orleans to have a memory.
Yeah,
that's not what the Super Bowl in Vegas is.
Not anymore.
The Super Bowl in Vegas is the difference between maybe going to Hawaii or Tahiti or doing one of those or a European month.
It's a massive production.
This is not an Ocean City weekend at all.
No, this is big.
So I'm planning big things here. In an effort to think that some of the Whiskey Joe folks like you, some of the 12,000 people that were in that march down in New Orleans aren't going to make it back to Vegas, but are going to be looking for something cool to do. So we're giving people a chance to give back, do something awesome. We're doing a thing called Crab Cake Row. It'll begin on February 5th. I'm going to be giving the details out 2 weeks from now, after the Ravens win the first playoff game against Flacco or the Steelers or the CJ Stroud. You're not going to be rooting for CJ Stroud, even though you like him, right?
Against who?
Against us.
Not against us. Of course not.
All right.
Of course not. No, we're putting down all comers, baby.
Man, your whole Ohio State blood, man. Your kid went out there and changed you, man.
We're putting down everybody. That's it. No.
Are you going to be really upset if Washington doesn't win a national championship just based on the fact that
I just hope. I just hope. Can only hope.
I'll say this about Ohio State. I've never hated Ohio State or Michigan. I've never had.
Me neither.
I've hated Notre Dame. I'll say that.
There you go.
Trying to think of any of the Big Ten schools that I've really had any sort of Indiana basketball, Bobby Knight. Like when we beat them 20 years ago in Atlanta, that felt nice. That felt like you're beating Hoosiers. I got no Michigan, Ohio State thing, but the Jim Harbaugh thing and the cheating thing and his brother
They're
and
all going to be there.
His brother's
They're all
lack
going to
of
be there.
integrity.
They're all going to be. All your
in
friends
dealing
are
with
going to be
me.
there.
Like, I have a lot of Michigan friends. I mean, my God, the Bond Distributing girls went to Michigan, and they had all. And my buddy Jason Wright was on a plane. His wife's a Michigan person. They're in here, like all of that.
All your friends are going to be there.
I am going to be on behalf of Warren Moon and the Husky
There
Nation.
you go. There you go. Husky Nation.
I don't want to. I don't like when cheaters win.
I hear you.
I mean, that's how I feel about Belichick. I loved seeing him freeze his ass off in the snow and get his ass beat by the Jets.
By the Jets.
By the Jets. I thought it was just.
Can you see him
good?
It's
nice that you have that feeling, Bill. I want you to. He pulled his hoodie up over his head because he didn't want to see anybody.
Can you see him coaching anywhere else? Really? Isn't he enough? Isn't it over?
I don't know what the appeal would be for an owner. For an owner.
Oh
to
my God.
say, I'm going to bring you in for
Atlanta
5 years
would take
here.
him. Atlanta, come on.
Well, he might be hired by the end of the day in Atlanta, right?
Right, right.
So, I mean, somebody's going to value him, and he has to value the situation to say, I'm not going to work for Mark Davis.
He's no spring chicken. But he's no spring chicken. It's not like he's trying to create a career. It's over.
Right. That's why I'm saying, what are you starting when you bring Bill Belichick in?
No.
What are you starting?
No, it's over. It's time for him to ride off into the sunset. It's enough. It's enough.
Not enough for him.
It's got to be enough.
He's so competitive, dude. Like he can't walk. He can't not have this. It's like oxygen. It's like Springsteen or Mick Jagger touring. It's what they do.
I don't know. I guess. It just
how
seems
about
like
this?
It's over.
Marvin's made $100 million, right? Marvin could be with his wife out and Marvin's obsessed with winning. Marvin was helping the Raiders. Marvin wants to coach. I mean, Brian walked away. I'm trying to think of people I know that can just. You know who walked away cold turkey? Mike Smith, my buddy Mike Smith. You talk about former Falcon. I mean, he lives on a hill in Tennessee, and when I talk to him, he's like, I don't watch football anymore. I'm just done. I'm done. I watched football professionally for every minute of my life. I'm done. I'm just done.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. All right. You'll be managing money until when you're not managing money, you'll still be reading the stock pages, right?
I don't read the stock pages now.
You don't?
No.
How do you follow the market? Can you tell me how you follow the market?
I follow it. I see it. I watch what goes on. The market goes up. The market goes down. I don't care. What I know is in the long run, I can't predict the next 10%. I can't predict the next 20%. I'm not picking stocks, but the next 100% the market is up. So put your money in and let it cook. That's it. I know what's going on. I know that in the long run, it creates wealth. And I know there's other ways to create wealth, businesses and real estate and opportunity to do great things for great people. And that's what I help my clients do. I don't pick stocks. I haven't picked an individual stock in 35 years. I don't own any individual stocks. And I don't care what happens at company A, B, or C, because I own company A, B, and C as part of the entirety of a portfolio that someone owns. And I don't have time to figure out which company may or may not be the right company because it's a fool's errand. It can't be done. There's just no value in it. It's a waste of time and energy.
All right. Leonard set me straight. See, that's why I have you around. Raskin Global. You can find him out in the front of BaltimorePositive.com. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'll give you a bye week here. At least take a little time. We'll get together. We'll reconvene. I'll know who's playing who and where next week. I promise.
That's right.
Brain fart here in the morning. Overslept this morning.
We got it.
And we'll see how Joe throws on Saturday. Leonard Raskin can be found at RaskinGlobal.com. He's right here in Hunt Valley, but manages money for people all over the world. And more than that, just good head on his shoulders to give you some advice and keep you square and make sure you don't give the Baltimore Sun your credit card because you'll never get it back. I don't know about the Peacock people, but they ain't getting my credit card. I'm Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, practicing the austerity that Leonard Raskin has recommended for me with my credit card. Back for more right after this.